Shalom, good Shabbos, thank you for joining us. We'll begin this evening with the Shalom Aleichem. It's on page number 5 in the Siddur. And then we're going to do something a little bit different. We'll be singing 3 songs from the little songbook that here located on the back table of the sanctuary. But first beginning with the Shalom Aleichem on page number 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei songbooks. We'll begin on page number 81 in the songbook. This first song that I'm selected tonight is Dodi Li. It comes to us from the Bible. Dodi means my beloved. Li is mine. And some are familiar with the phrase, I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. This is a poem which has been rendered and set to many different melodies. We're on page 81 near the bottom, page 81. And the symbolic element of this is that God loves the people of Israel. And when we hear this terminology, we can think of a song, maybe a serenade of God of and for the people of Israel. And it's a very powerful metaphor, and it's become popular and it has been welcomed and integrated into Jewish wedding ceremonies and even ketubot. So it begins here on the bottom of page 81 and turns on to the top of page 82. Dodi Li.
Dodi Li Ani lo harohe bashoshanim Dodi li ani lo harohe bashoshanim Mizot olam min hamidbar Mizot olam mekuteret mor levona Shoshanim Dodi li ani lo harohem Shoshanim Libavtini achoti kala Libavtini kala Libavtini achoti kala Libavtini kala Shoshanim Dodi li ani lo harohem Shoshanim Uritza. הצפון ובואי תימן
is what we might call a spiritual. It comes to us from the late 1700s. It's a teaching from a famous Hasidic sage. He was known as the Bratslaver, Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, and he taught many things, but one of the famous phrases that stands out is the phrase, the whole world is just a very narrow bridge. The main thing is, don't be afraid. The Hebrew here is on page number 88, Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher tsar ma'od, V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. The whole world is just a very narrow bridge, but the main thing is, don't be afraid, and there are numerous melodies to this as well. But just one thought to share. We've all passed over bridges, large wide spans, and maybe even footbridges. And how often do we stop to consider that if it were not for the cooperation of people as a crew, building and constructing these bridges, we have no way to traverse the valleys, gaps, lakes, rivers, and so on. The teaching that we're all in this world together, and we collaborate not only in fashioning the bridge, but we also walk across or travel across the bridge as community. So I think the main element of this is reminding us that we're all essential to the safety and well-being and the traveling of everyone. Kol ha'olam kulo, page 88.
Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od. V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od.
On the bottom of page 92, a very well-known song. It's found in the prayer book. It's found in many locations throughout Jewish life. It's Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom means literally, God is making peace right now in the heavens. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. May God make peace, Aleinu, for us, Bial Kol Yisrael, and for everyone. Oseh Shalom on page 92. turning back to the Siddur now, on page 21, prior to the Lecharoti, on page 21, a psalm. It's on page 21 of the Siddur. Yizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai v'elim, havu l'Adonai kavod ba'oz, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai v'hadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamoyim, el kavod kirnim, Adonai almayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai behadar, kol Adonai shover arazim, v'shover Adonai et arsei al-Levanon, v'arkinim k'mo egel Lebanon v'Siryon, k'mo ben-rebim, kol Adonai chotzei lahavot eish, kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yachol elayalot, vayechesof ye'arot, uvhechalo kulo mer kavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. On page 23, the first two, page 25, the last two stanzas. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha, ishmiyanu elam yuchad Adonai echad, ushmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat l'chol v'necha, ki mekor havelacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin osmol tiferotzi v'yekdadonai taritzi al yarish ben parthi v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Bo'im shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzala, tochem moneh am segula. Bo'ichala, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbos is here. Rabbinic standing, please. On page 28, the psalm in honor of Shabbat. She's right here. And as a function of Shabbat's being right here on page 28, the last two stanzas, we are reminded that each one of us is accorded great honor. Each one of us, according to the psalm from the Tanakh and Bible, is viewed as a tzaddik, a person with the capacity to righteously transform the world in which we dwell. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Oh, Nirvum Besebo, Dishani, running you, Lagi Kisharoi Tabo. And we are seated, turning now to the opening bracha of the evening service on page number 39b. Page 39b. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space. You completed your work of creation on the seventh day, calling this day from one evening to the next the holy Shabbat, and gave this day a rest in all its holiness to your people Israel. Creator of day and night, ruling light before darkness and darkness from light, making day pass and bringing on the evening, distinguishing day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God, forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu L'Olam Moed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. On page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadita Oken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachveinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha li'olam vo'ed Ki em chayenu ve'orech yameinu v'hem negeh yomam v'layla The Ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41, Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'afto et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al vavecha v'shinatam avanecha v'dibartavam b'shitecha b'beitecha u'b'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shachbecha u'kumecha u'kishartam la'ot al yadecha dehayu l'totachot b'einecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'sharecha. Page 42 for your Turning now to page 44, the Michamocha. On page 45, the bracha, just prior to the V'shamru, in a moment V'shamru, but for now we're on page 45, the last stanza. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufro solenu sukkot shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporeis sukkot shalom aleinu, v'yakol bo Yisrael, Yerushalayim. V'shamru, the top of page number 46. Shabbat vayirafash, Shabbat vayirafash, Shabbat vayirafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dor tamid tolam. Yisheshet yamim Adonai et ha-shamayim v'yetah Song and Amida, pages 47 to 52, or a few moments of our own private prayer and meditation. Turning to page 51, we see Shalom Rav, which is the last bracha of the evening Amida. Rav means lots of, much. Comes from the modern Hebrew word is harbe. Shalom Rav is, may there always be much, too much peace in our world. Ahavas. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Ra Yisrael Amma Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amma Tasim Le'olam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Shalom, Shalom Ra Yisrael Amma Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amma Tasim תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל. בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Shabbat Yehuda, thank you. Yehuda offered to bring in a few additional songs tonight. We're always grateful anytime Yehuda comes because his voice and his ruach, and the presence always adds a great deal. Minette and I just returned from having a few days with our children, and they're in different locations, and so we gathered in a place that would be somewhat convenient for all of them to travel to. We've been in Winchester, Tennessee for the past few days. And I thought, having lived here in Mobile for a number of years, I would have been accustomed to the deep South accent, but there's something a little bit different about a Tennessee twang that I haven't even heard even here in the deep South of Mobile. And we'd be out walking and we'd meet people and getting gas at the gas station, and there's a distinct sound to the people living in southern Tennessee. And as we walked about and we took some hikes, it occurred to me that this is the closest that I've ever been to Kentucky and West Virginia. And the storied Hatfield and McCoy feud came to my mind. I began reading a little bit, and I learned a few things about the Hatfields and the McCoys, who lived on two different sides of a small river. But there was acrimony for many years. And we're leaving now 1890 behind. And in 1993, some great-great-grandchildren came up with the idea of establishing something akin to a tourism trail. And money came forth from the Small Business Administration and established a tourism trail, and you can travel along and look at the map and the pictures and find out what happened to when, to whom, in such and such a location. That happens in the early 1990s. And in the year 2000, there was a reunion of the Hatfields and McCoys, and 5,000 people showed up. in the year 2000, claiming to be kin to these two storied families. And in 2003, a truce was set between great-great-great-grandchildren on both sides. In 2003, an official truce was declared. And I'm excited to hear about that. And then I also asked the question, why did it take 100 years, literally, for two conflicting families to finally realize that fighting and arguing and stealing and killing was not the way to live side by side? And the answer is because they and we and all of us are people, and we have feelings, and we hold on to grudges. And yet still, the family had the presence of mind to call the feud quits. And officially a truce was established. And this is on my mind not only because it's Thanksgiving weekend, and we need to remind ourselves of what it means to be thankful for opportunities to share as family, as friends, as members of a community, to appreciate the true blessings: life, health, closeness, most importantly, a sense of comfort and peace and friendship. And this is also on my mind, not only because of Thanksgiving, but because tomorrow we learn of the genesis of a Jewish feud. And the feud is between the younger brother Jacob and the older brother Esau. And they're twins. We don't know how many minutes apart, but they are described as twins. And Esau is the eldest, Jacob is the youngest, and they come out, and we don't know how old they are, but at a certain stage, we might guess, very mid to late teens, Jacob, who's a homebody, is cooking a meal. Esau comes in from the fields. Esau is very, very hungry. There was no place to get food quickly, and he asked his younger brother for some food. And Jacob said, "First sell me the status of your having been born first," known as the birthright, as if you could sell that somebody was born earlier or later than the other. And we're taught that Esau was very angry and he spurned his birthright. He transferred the birthright over, he took the meal and he left. And nothing is said, but I think there's a burr under Esau's saddle. And years go by, and then Esau is supposed to receive a special blessing from old man Isaac. And as we know, Jacob dressed up as Esau, wearing Esau's clothing, putting animal skins upon his neck to give off the aroma, the smell of being out in the fields, to present himself as his older brother. And he passed himself off to old man Isaac, who couldn't see. And Isaac gave the Esau blessing to Jacob. And then Jacob left, he vamoosed, and when Esau found out what happened, Esau said, "Someday I'm going to kill my brother." Two legs upon which a feud was fueled. And the younger Jacob knew that this feud was happening because in part he had initiated that initial upset, that antagonism of taking advantage of an older brother, taking something from him instead of just offering food. And it must have gone through his mind as he dressed himself up years later that what I'm doing is really adding fuel to the fire. And that's why Jacob ran away. And it occurs to me that when Jacob finally approaches his older brother Esau 20 years later, Jacob is still anticipating that the feud is ongoing. Jacob does not know that his own brother, the older brother, the one who had been wronged and taken advantage of twice, had already made up his mind to end the feud. Esau should get the credit for saying, let have bygones be bygones. And Esau doesn't quite get enough attention, in my opinion, because he's the one who ended the feud. It took 20 years for us to find out about it, just like it took 100 years for the Hatfields and McCoys to finally call that feud quits. May we learn from our West Virginia and Kentucky kinfolk, and may we learn from Jacob and Esau, especially Esau, may we learn to let those grudges go and focus our strengths and our power on maintaining peace within our family and our communities. We say, Amen. We rise with Elena. Elena was on page number 56. Alleluia Shabbat Laton HaKol Latet Gedula Leokseh Breshit Shelo Asanuk Goyeh Aratzot Velo Samanu Kemishpachot Adama Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem Vigor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam Vanachnu korim, amishtacharim umadim, lipnei melet, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim v'yoser haaretz, umoshav yekaro b'shamayim v'yimal, ushchinatu zo, Begohei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Enon, Emet Malkeinu Efesulato, Kakatu B'Torato, V'yodat Hayom Hashemota El Levavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Bashamayim bimal, v'yal haaretz, mitochot Elod. Kakatu b'Toratecha, Adonai Yimoch L'olam Va'ed, V'ne'emar Adonai, L'melech HaKol Haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, U'Shemo In a moment, the Mourner's Kaddish on page number 58. Page number 58 of Mourner's Kaddish in just a moment. And on this Shabbat, we remember with great love Saul Brown, William M. Lubell, Isidore Loeb, Evelyn Bloom, Moss Zivitz, Abraham Sawalowski, William A. Lubell, Philip Silverstein, Bessie Wilson, Joanne Conlon, Jack Gerwich, Ginny Plotzka, Max Levy, Rose Beskind, Brandy Gerwich, Florence Dorothy Posner, Anna Muchnick Sates. Does he know the names to mention this evening? Perhaps those at home have a name to share. I wish to do something a little bit different tonight. I want to read the first part in English, reminding us of what Kaddish is all about. Kaddish means to make holy. It's an Aramaic word. It originates in Babylonia, perhaps 18 to 1900 years ago. It's a declaration. We're making God holy, even as people who have lost loved ones are experiencing grief or sorrow. What does it say about someone who strives to declare that there is a grandeur and a holiness far exceeding his or her own experience, even during times of loss? What does that say? It teaches resilience. It teaches a wide-angle perspective. May God's great name be exalted and hallowed throughout the created world as God's wish. May God's sovereignty soon be established in your lifetime and your days, O Israel, and in the days of all of the house of Israel. And we all say, Amen. And the famous line, Yehi Shmei Rabbah, means, may God's great name be acknowledged forever and ever. And then those who are mourning or grieving would continue and say, may the name of the Holy One be acknowledged and celebrated, lauded and worshipped, exalted and honored, extolled and acclaimed. Though God, who is blessed, is truly beyond all acknowledgement and praise, beyond any expression of gratitude or consolation ever spoken in the world. God is beyond everything. And the whole community says, Amen. May heaven bestow on us and on all Israel life and abundant and lasting peace. And we say, Amen. And Yehuda is going to conclude with the famous Oseh Shalom. In just a moment, the Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Leilei al Kol Yisrael, Yimeru Amen, Yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Leilei al Kol Yisrael, Yimeru Amen, Yimeru Amen. Me'oanu me'zonis, me'peace and our love, me'amaker of our love. Give us hearts and care. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Leinu le'al Yoshvei Tzaddik. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Leinu le'al Kol Yisrael, Yimeru Amen, Yimeru Amen.
Yishar Koach. Shkod, Yehuda. Thank you very much. And we say to all who joined us, Shabbat Shalom. May you be blessed. May you know that you are loved and cherished. And at some point, if you're able, we'd love to have you back in our building so we can see each other in person. Until that time comes, Lehitro, may you be blessed. We look forward to seeing you soon. For now, good job.